crime is certainly a very testosterone-driven genre, and it's often criticized for the thinness of women's roles and that they're written to sort of serve a narrative function and not a lot more than that. But do you feel your character there's more than meets the eye to her? She's more than just serving a function as the sort of catalyst for the conflict between the two men?
Yeah, definitely. I never really... I saw, when I read the script, I loved it. And I think it's rich, very rich characters. They're complicated. And they're, all kind of broken in different ways. Like Cousin Marv, he has this, a broken dream. And, these two are broken souls in a way. And my ex-boyfriend is pretty disturbed. And for me, Nadia is, I think, always, I have to make characters mine. I have to use myself and translate things from me into the person. And I guess that sometimes, I can add things and make it, more interesting sometimes, and you need to make them richer. But in this one, it was so much to work on because, I think Dennis Lehane's writing is so brilliant.
I concur. I mean, it's a good question, though. I mean,
yeah.
Then I was thinking Thelma and Louise, True Romance,
yeah.
Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
And I think that writing for women, and films for women, you could be much more. There could be much better, material out there.
Yeah.
And could be advanced a lot more, especially today, nowadays.
But
It'd be interesting to just take crime genre and just replace men's parts and have women play them and not even question it. Just go.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, certainly for me, the most interesting thing about Bob is just how subtly and gradually his nature is revealed, which is it's quite atypical for the crime genre. It doesn't tend to be the way the characters are established. So what sort of things did you do to sort of foster that gradual process of revelation?
Slow burn it. You don't, the good thing is about it is he doesn't, there's one part in the film where you need to know unequivocally, who Bob is. And everything else is about just not being there, and not being underestimated, not being noticed, to remain invisible. But in each scene towards that moment where it's unequivocally clear who he is, he gives away something, just a sheet or a leaf of something, whether it's a look, whether it's something he says, whether it's something that's unlike him that he does. He edges very closely towards his, what it is that happens at a certain point. Inevitably, and with the dog turning up by divine coincidence or whatever, it's the catalyst for the speeding up of that process, which ultimately allows us to see where potentially he may and they may go afterwards.
European filmmakers have brought a lot in terms of reimagining American crime stories, Jean-Pierre Melville and Nicholas Winding Refn and our director Michael. Did you feel like you were working on something kind of unique with this one? It was a European sensibility mixed with an American sort of genre?
I love a hybrid.
It felt unique. And but it's funny because I'm Swedish, Spanish, but I never felt really that I belonged to anything. It's like I grew up in Iceland and Sweden, and I've been moving a lot. So I think I'm kind of the wrong person to point out like different because European or American. I can melt into different situations, and I can stay in different places, and it become my home after a week or so because I have this rootless thing, and so for me Brooklyn was almost like its own character in the film, and that's very strong. But and Michael, he's Michael for me. I don't really see it as a European filmmaker or not. It's a different.
It's interesting when you're saying that. It's like there's an international flavor, but America is ultimately is made up of many origins from all over the world. And it's about 400 plus years old. It's not it's quite a young country in many ways. So if you're taking artists or assets from different countries, whether it's South America, whether it's Europe, whether it's South Africa or Vietnam, anywhere. Do you know what I mean? These people are going to bring something ultimately that to the table, which is a perspective which together we're going to create a hybrid, which is breaking ground and creating new work. But it's not so far away from being American because because ultimately the profound sense of where it's an American story. There's also America is somewhere I always believe that people can come and be whoever they want to be, and they come from all over the world, and they're encouraged to very much, to be free and to, if they can, you can be what you want to be if you work hard at it. That's the concept. And what's interesting with this particular film is that these people are stuck and they can't be what they want to be, no matter how much they want to be. And Dennis Lehane was saying the other day that, it's the difference between Shakespeare and noir, was it? Somebody would say...
No, Shakespeare
he writes about a king falling from grace and it being painful. But these
Dennis
guys trip off the curb and it's just as painful, but nobody notices or cares, So, the amalgamation of an international team is great. You get to cherry pick, it's ultimately an American film and piece, of writing, But it's an international human story. So why it's good that it's shared.
To different countries and cultures, and
and we all beat with the same. We beat from the same drum. We all have hearts. We all feel similar ways.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey